Hey there, welcome into the half. I'm just one half of the half, Aaron Montgomery, checking in. Erich is efforting to jump in. He is remote, hopefully going to be coming to us live from the Impressions Expo there in Fort Worth. And so I am here to get us started. And again, Aaron Montgomery with our Success Group. And Richard, hello, thanks for being here. Hopefully you are feeling much better, sir. And here he is. Look at this guy. Sir, how are you? Erich has made it. He is here. Maybe he can hear us. I do not know. Erich, can you hear us? Nope, we're not getting anything from Erich yet. So he's gonna my homies. All right, Todd. Thank you for being here. Awesome. So welcome into the half 30-minute Q&A. Anything you guys want to talk about? Any questions you guys have? Any topics that you want to discuss? Anything across the board? When Erich is available and can actually hear us, we will try to get him to answer any questions about embroidery. And Todd says, looks like Erich is trying to steal a rental car. So yes, let's see. Let's try one more time. Erich, any luck? Nope, no luck yet. No luck yet.
Right. I can hear you, but we are definitely.
Oh, all right.
We're definitely in robot voice mode.
Oh, okay. Well, I can hear you, sir. So must just be on your side there. So we'll give it a go. All right. So we're just checking in with everybody right now, Erich. So we've got Lori. Good day. And Mike says the quarter. Yep, it is a quarter. Now we're more like 35 cents, I would say. And then we've got Alicia. Hello. And Mike. There we go. Awesome. So like I said, you guys, this is a 30-minute opportunity. Erich just coming off of a class there in Fort Worth. So if he can hear us, we might try to have, in fact, Erich, I'm going to, oh, there he goes. He's floating away one more time. All right. We'll give him another moment to try, see if he can find a little better location there. Good morning, Sheila. Thanks for being here. Awesome. So you got just me today, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you got. And Erich's still efforting, so we'll keep an eye out for him. But you guys let me know what questions you have. And Jorita, hello. Great to see you here, Jorita. It was great to see you in Chicago as well. All right, Erich, one more go here. Yes. Up. Nope. Still spinning. Spinning wheel of death there for Erich. So, all right. Well, you guys, I'm going to rely on you guys pretty heavily here then today. I need questions. I need some thoughts. I need some comments. I need some things that you guys want to talk about here today. And I think we can pull this off. So I'm going to leave this up to you guys today. I really need your support and help. Coming off of a great Two Regular Guys show where we got to talk about presentation, kind of wrap up that conversation. And, so Todd starts us off with a volleyball question. Very much appreciated. Setting me up some meatballs, so I feel good here. All right, Todd. So are volleyball nets the same height for all age brackets? They are not. So there is a different height for men and a different height for women. And then there is a juniors, a youth under, I can't remember the age cutoff. I think it's 10. I think under 10 has an even shorter net. So, and then Todd says, now I am me. So there are different net heights, men's height, women's height. And honestly, at the higher levels, the net really has very little to do with the level that they play. Most of all those people are the net's here when they're jumping, the net's here for me when I'm jumping nowadays, but it's different. So, little different net height. There we go. And Chuck says, morning, Aaron. Looks like you might be solo. Yep. Looks like Erich was having some difficulty getting good internet where he's at. Like I said, he's just outside of the Fort Worth Convention Center because he just finished a class over there. and he was going to try to join us remotely, but it looks like the internet's not cooperating with him. So he tried, and it looks like I'm solo today. So, and then Todd, another volleyball question for me. I appreciate that. Are all the balls the same size? They are typically the same circumference size, but they do have different weights. There is what they call a volley light for the 10 and under crowd, which is a little bit lighter. And then there are different balls at different levels. Like the collegiate players play with a molten ball, and but if you watch the Olympic athletes play with a Mikasa, and they feel completely differently. So the balls can be very different, and they do change depending on where you're at. Indoor versus beach volleyball, two separate balls there as well. So there's your volleyball 101 for today. Different net heights and different balls depending on where you're at. So, all right, Mike, when we eventually bring screen printing in-house, be a Me Too with a good size traditional auto, etc., or go big and go straight for digital squeegee and be a unique offering in the area despite the enormous extra startup costs. Okay. This is a good one, Mike. And Eric says he's going to try again from the hall. We will see. Okay. All right. Cool, Eric. I'll hang tight. Mike, let's get to this one. I think this is a great question. I think that any opportunity that you have to be a unique offering, I would say it's worth looking at. And I know that you said there's an enormous extra startup cost. The question becomes, is that investment in that extra startup cost, how quickly could you recuperate that by being a unique offering? And a little bit that's going to be guessing. A little bit of that is going to have to be you banking on yourself, right? You believing enough in yourself that you can make a difference with that opportunity. I think by having a digital squeegee, you open up a huge world of opportunities that are pretty cool and allow you to do some pretty cool things. If you watch what Michelle Moxley over at M&R is doing in a lot of their lab stuff, I mean, it's incredible. And so the question becomes, is your customer base interested in that kind of stuff? And in being that unique offering, how quickly could you recoup that extra startup cost? So that would be my answer to that, Mike, is taking a look at ultimately, okay, if let's say it's an extra, and I'm just throwing numbers out here. These are probably nowhere close to right. And in fact, probably way off, but I haven't done a whole lot of research on this, but let's just say it's an extra $10,000 for easy math. Well, how quickly could I recoup that extra $10,000? How much additional market share could I grab? How many new customers or new business from existing customers could the use of that digital squeegee offer me? And, you're the only one that can figure that out. And again, some of it might be a little bit of a guess. And therefore, it's part of it's going to have to be believing in yourself that you can do it. And then going from there. So, we had Eric for a moment and then he went away. So hopefully that gives you at least a start, Mike. I'd love to hear some of your additional thoughts on that. I know there's probably more to it. I think you're going to use the same kind of calculations and ideas just to kind of figure out when it's time to bring screen printing in-house. And so while you're in the process of figuring that out, does it financially make sense? Is there a return on investment? And when you're making these investment decisions, don't go look at the cost, right? So if the cost is this for this and the cost is this for this, that doesn't matter. That shouldn't make any difference into your decision-making process. If you got to come up with a way to find extra money, then either you have to wait longer to get there, or you got to come up with a way to get extra money if this thing makes more of an investment mentality sense. So can I do more with this, and will this warrant more business down the road is the way to make that decision. So Mike, I'd love to hear any more of your thoughts on that as well. And then Jorita, will sublimation work on colored fabrics? So this is a very challenging question to answer. Not challenging in a sense of like will it or will it not? Technically, it will work. It basically depends on what you're going to see. Now, some people will say, well, I can print on dark fabrics by using things like a vinyl or something like that. And that is true, but that is technically not sublimating. You're sublimating onto another substrate that then you're sticking on top of a dark garment. So that's not sublimation at its core. Now, I do know people that will use a colored fabric and then they will sublimate directly onto it. But if I've got a navy blue or a black shirt and then I try to sublimate onto it, I'm not going to be able to see that. The inks are opaque. There's no white background, so I can't sublimate onto colored fabrics directly. Now, if I have a dark, maybe I'm just putting black lettering on a red shirt, then that would work. But if I was trying to put, let's say, yellow lettering on a blue shirt, on a light blue shirt, I'm not going to end up with yellow lettering. I'm going to end up with green lettering because yellow and blue make green, right? So that's where the challenge comes with colored fabrics. I always recommend sticking with whites as often as you can, and then understanding that your colors are going to change based on the background, based on whatever you're putting it onto. So hopefully that answers that for you, Jarita. All right, Eric, I know you're trying to find a spot. Let's try one more time. We can hear you.
I can actually hear you this time. I can hear you.
All right. We can hear you, man.
Let me try this.
Oh, look at this.
That worked better. There we go.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you going above and beyond for us here to find it.
Let me try it. There we go.
Awesome.
That's better. Slightly better.
There you go. Yeah, no, that'll work, man.
Right.
I think that'll get us through. So, well, appreciate you finding a way to make this work for us for a little bit here. And
not a problem.
And so real quick, we're talking to Jarita right now about will sublimation work on colored fabric. So I kind of gave her my rundown, and I don't know how much you heard, but if you want to add anything, please feel free.
It's just like you said, really the biggest part of it is knowing what you can and can't do and really working on light fabrics. Works really great for polyesters and doing applique stuff, multimedia stuff. Love it for that. But yeah, really light colored fabrics, white fabrics. And if you have something dark, print it dark.
Yeah.
So yeah. Otherwise, you have to look into other technologies like white toner transfer or something else that you can use to print on dark garments.
Yep, exactly. Nice. All right, cool. And then I want to back up real quick and just see if you had any thoughts here on Mike's question.
Sure.
It says, when we eventually bring screen printing in-house, should they be a Me Too with a good sized traditional auto, or go big and go straight for digital squeegee and be a unique offering in the area, despite the enormous extra startup costs? What's your take on that?
That's tough because, I mean, do you want to just go DTG, or are you trying to do digital squeegee so you can do, multiple applications or special techniques? Because that's a big different thing, right?
Yeah.
Digital squeegee is when you want to combine that with other traditional screen printing stuff, foil stuff like that. And I know you can still do some of that in DTG, but I think you might be able to just go DTG. Depends on your output. I know Mike actually has some serious output. He's not just doing single piece stuff all the time. So you may want to look into that. It's a really hard call.
Nice. Yeah. And I talked a lot about that too, like kind of look at it from an investment standpoint. And because I knew there'd be more. And so he just shared a little bit more with us here, Eric. So I'll read it for you.
Sure.
Says, thanks for the opinion, Aaron. I think our existing customer base doesn't need that extra capacity. I would have to create that new market and educate people about what they don't know, but can swing a dead cat and hit 10 traditional screen print shops. Thinking Me Too is just added headache and equipment for not much gain. I think we'd be looking at 125K versus north of 500K. So any extra thoughts there, Eric? I've got a few too, but go ahead.
Well, it does make me wonder if you couldn't do it in a stepwise fashion, if you couldn't step up to it after starting, because I know digital squeegee does actually act as something that's additional to an auto. So I wonder if you couldn't pre-kit yourself and start out before that. The thing is, he's right. When you have to build up the content, when you have to build up the demand for it, you may well be able to just do that from the get-go. But it makes me wonder, can we do some sort of outsourcing first? Is there a way to get any proof of what's going to be useful?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so, I wonder, when looking at the whole thing in general, He says, but can swing a dead cat and hit 10 traditional screen print shops. My guess is you could probably swing that same dead cat and hit 10 traditional embroidery shops too, right? But you've managed to set yourself apart in that space by doing the things that you're doing. So I would maybe look at this from a standpoint as how can you amplify what you're currently doing and what tools are going to get you there, right? So if that $500,000, $500,000 investment is not going to allow you to really amplify what you're doing currently, then yeah, it's probably not worthwhile. And honestly, just being that traditional Me Too kind of screen printer, that doesn't mean that just because you have the same equipment that everybody else doesn't mean you have to be that Me Too screen printer either. I mean, there's obviously something that sets you apart already. And so just bring that into what you do with screen printing. And I think there'll be a lot going for you there. So,
a lot of your execution, the way you're handling your art, your assets, I mean, the design work is all part of that.
Yeah, definitely.
And honestly, the way you position yourself, the way you handle design is going to be a big part of it. And the way you handle, honestly, being a one-stop shop, because I know you've got embroidery in-house. So part of it can be that too. Honestly, the digital squeegee is a hard call for me.
Yeah.
That is a huge investment. It's not that it's useful or not useful, but it is a huge investment straight out of the gate.
Yeah. And Eric, this reminds me of back when I first was selling DTG back in 2004 era. And when it first came out, that dates me a little bit, huh? It was interesting because it was interesting because it was that new shiny object, and that's kind of where the digital squeegee's at right now, and some other tools out there, even DTF. Got this whole new shiny object syndrome, which is great. It was great at the time when I was selling it because basically I wasn't doing any selling; I was taking orders, But at the end of the day, I realized, and as I talked with more people, it wasn't for everybody, And so you do have to kind of make sure that you're not just getting sucked into the new shiny object, and really have a good understanding of what is this investment going to do for me. I don't want you to look at it from a cost standpoint. If $50,000 could end up making you $2-3 million in a couple of years, then that's a no-brainer. Figure it out, right? I mean, to me, again, I'm not saying that everybody should just go find $50,000 or $500,000. Excuse me, I keep saying $50,000. So yeah, go ahead, Eric.
In my opinion, you know what the strengths of it are. You know what the strengths of digital squeegee are. Are you going to be doing the kind of customization, the kind of individual personalization, things that only it can do?
Yeah.
Because if you're just using it to get full color prints easier, then you're just replicating what you can do with screen print and making it easier for yourself. And that might be something with efficiency on small orders, maybe. But if you're trying to say, like I said, I'm setting myself apart by its capabilities, look at what you can do that you can't do in any other way, and then make sure that that's something that appeals to your market. If digital decoration, if the kind of mail merge style of individual decoration personalization can sell to your clientele and that makes that big of a difference, awesome. If they have traditional screen print jobs and you're just trying to, I don't know, shine them on by being able to do smaller runs of those, standard DTG maybe might be a thing instead, or DTG plus screen instead, but not the digital squeegee. It depends. It really is about what is the actual value that it brings, what uniquely can it do that other technologies can't, and what does that mean for your market?
Yep, totally. Cool.
Maybe for you, might not.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Mike, great question. Thanks for letting us. I know you probably already got a big chunk of this, understand all this, but appreciate you letting us kind of talk about it as a wider scope too for other folks that might be looking at equipment purchases.
Mike does good research, so we all know he knows already.
Yeah. Chuck says hello, Eric. So there you go. Sheila, we got you. Just one second, Sheila. And then Todd said, "Swinging a dead cat." Yeah, I'm borrowing that. I like that as well. I don't know. All right, Eric. So Sheila asks, and I know you were teaching while we had the Two Rare Guys podcast, but you were privy to what we were talking about, so you got an understanding of it at least. So Sheila says, business question, piggybacking on the podcast earlier today. I have 3 different businesses and feel like split personalities sometimes and need to bring them all together under one brand. But I have no idea where to start the rebranding of the things I like doing and want to continue. So, Erich, your thoughts there?
I will say, funny enough, I don't know if you necessarily have to, unless this is something that's causing, inefficiencies in your work.
Yeah.
I think what's almost better is to make sure the workflow is really great, and then the branding itself can be different unless you really are trying to let them feed into each other. Because I've actually had a great deal of success keeping company stores separate from the main decoration brand at places I worked. But just making sure that the workflow and the feed all went to one place. The only time I wanted to mix those is if I wanted general decoration customers to come out of my branded opportunities. Now, if you're really just doing different kinds of decorating and for some reason those are separate, that's a different matter altogether. And in that case, maybe you do want to start rebranding. And I would say whatever is your most prominent brand, fold the other brands into the most prominent one that already has recognition.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, Erich, to piggyback on what you're saying there too, is we sometimes think that, yeah, we've got all these different things. And yeah, I mean, heck, I deal with this. I'm dealing with this right now. I've got the stuff that I do with our success group, and there's certain parts of that. And then there's certain parts of things that I do with the success principles stuff, and then there's the stuff that Erich and I doing here with the half and 2 regular guys. And I feel like I'm, 8,000 different places, but as a whole, everything that I do comes out of who I am as a person, my personality, my values, right? I mean, all the people that I've surrounded myself with, Erich, Terry, Todd, we all have very similar values in this: education is key, abundance mentality, all of these kind of core values that we all kind of tap into. We all come at it from a little different angle and have different views. So sure. I think our businesses can be that same way. And like Erich said, you can kind of which one's the most prominent, and maybe if you're really trying to kind of tie some things, make it a little bit more efficient, then that's one thing. I know for me, I'd like to tighten up things a little bit with our success group and 2 regular guys and the decorators community and stuff like that, and get that a little bit more as one entity. But at the same time, like Erich said, you don't necessarily need to have just one business. I think having one personality, one set of values is kind of what we were trying to talk about in the presentation part today. That you kind of have a similar, so people go, oh, okay, well, there's Aaron with 2 regular guys, and there's Aaron with our success group. I get it. There's that same set of values, because then I'm attracting in the same types of people, the people that are wanting more, that have an abundance mentality, that believe in the same stuff that we always talk about with, like, a rising tide raises all boats and that kind of thing. So that'd be my take on it, Erich.
Yeah, I think that's the case. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are times where you are split, and when she's talking about pruning, there's certainly something to be said for pruning. One of the things you can do to do it gently is find someone else who wants to take on that kind of work, the work that you no longer want to do, and build a partnership with them, so that you can funnel customers who absolutely still need that work over to them while you do the work that makes the most sense to you. So build your dream team of people who can help, and then use it to benefit another decorator. I mean, seriously, when I worked in a mid to large level shop, so not a huge shop, not a football field full of embroidery machines, but 60 to 100 heads, that shop was not really set up at the time for really small orders. So we farmed out to small 3rd bedroom, single operators, especially in the holidays with single items. We had some people we trusted, and when they got orders that were over 100 pieces, believe me, they would come to us. Yeah. There is a place for synergy in this, and I think that if there's something you just really don't want to do anymore, look for somewhere else they can still get that service and broker that for them, help them into it, consult them, and you'll still come off all right. And that can be difficult. That pruning doesn't need a rebranding all the time. It may mean that you have to, though, kind of shuffle people along and help them understand that you're doing what's best for your setup.
Yep. Yep, exactly. I like that, Erich. So Sheila says, that's really helpful. I just don't want to have to give up one of them as I'm streamlining processes. Sheila, maybe help us out here too. I'd love to actually learn a little bit more, if you wouldn't mind. We got a couple minutes here. So if we could get just like, what is maybe give us a little more specifics as to what the challenges are where you're worried about losing something by kind of tightening up your processes and your overall brand. So I'd love to know more about that. And then while Sheila's doing that, maybe Mike says, thanks guys. I know it's a pretty deep question for a short show, but that's a great 50,000 foot view. Very helpful. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for, yeah, Mike, we really appreciate you bringing that up and sharing and allowing us to participate in some ideas. So cool. If there are any other questions or any other things that we can help you with, you certainly feel free to reach out. All right, Erich. Well, while we're kind of getting to the end here, would you give us a quick update? What's happening there in Fort Worth, sir?
So far, I have to say I don't have much I can report because I haven't gotten out to the show floor. I was teaching this morning, so specialty thread class went off well. Met some great folks out there, folks who watch these shows too. So Ramona was out there, Letty Walker was out there, and also I've seen Cindy King this morning. So a bunch of the people who we usually say hello to are out here. I'm going to be out on the show floor soon. You also will see that I managed not only to be having my usual and brilliant swag that I often have, but I got to meet Jeff and Matt from the Embroidery Nerds. So I've got some Embroidery Nerd swag. You can kind of see. Hard to see on my own camera there, but there's some fun stuff going on from them. So
yeah, cool.
You see people out there with the Nerd Star.
Awesome.
Cool swag from those guys. So we got to talk about, like I said, embroidery. We got to talk about specifically specialty threads and how we can use those to bolster our business. And part of it is about standing out. And that's something that I think, honestly, Mike brought to our attention pretty well here, because there is something to being someone who can do a process or something creative. Everyone thinks, oh, well, what am I going to be doing that creative work all the time, or what if it's costly? Well, no, charge enough to do creative work, to use specialty materials. What you're going to find out is being a trusted creative person, you will now be a consultant, not a commodity, and they'll come to you for the normal work too.
Yeah.
So that was something cool. We got to talk about that bottom line version of what it means to use specialty materials, do more artistic work. And a lot of the time what it means is they just trust you more and think of you as that creative resource.
Nice. Awesome. All right, cool. Well, great. Keep us posted, and we'll look for you on social media there. I'm sure you'll be doing some lives or posting pictures, and you're always good at that. So we appreciate you keeping us informed.
You see me out here, you'll see the badge, you'll see the,
there you go. Well, like I said on yeah, like I said on Two Regular Guys, man, the FOMO is real right now, Erich. So I'm
feel it.
bummed that I'm missing out, but
I will say it's a lot of driving. It was more than I thought to get out here, but it was really great to see everybody so far, and I'm excited to see everyone else. I mean, like I said, I ran into Alan. All of our old friends are here, and it's great to see everybody, even if it is a different kind of year. I will say, though, the turnout, class turnout was heavier, and we actually had more people out than I was expecting. Fort Worth has been so far busier, and I can't wait to see the show floor and see how that turned out too. I'll certainly be catching people up with that as we kind of do probably a catch-up half, either maybe this weekend. We'll have to see, because I'm out in Fort Worth through the weekend and into next week. But we'll catch up and tell people about what's going on.
Awesome. All right. Well, Sheila gave us a little more information here, Erich. So let's see if we can cover this in 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes.
We'll catch back up with you.
Yeah. I do digitizing of stock embroidery designs, also custom decorating, embroidery, and sublimation. I'm starting to create quilt patterns, all kind of related, but very different target customers.
Yeah, I wouldn't fold that into one brand, I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Those are different brands that address different audiences, and those really need different setups and communication.
Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily make them under one brand either. Like I said, for me, it would be just being real clear about what your personality is, what your overall brand is, what your values are. And then, definitely two separate entities. Because like you said, they've got separate targets. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No, one place for your workflow, one place for all of your utility work, certainly one calendar to keep yourself on schedule. But I think different landing pages, different brands, and even fully different sites well within the realm of normal.
Yeah.
Those are different audiences, and I would go with that.
Awesome. Patrick from Caesar. Hello, sir. Good to see you.
Hey, Patrick.
I don't know if he's out there in Fort Worth. If you see him, say hello for me.
I'll have to.
All right, Erich. Well, you know what? Perfect timing, actually. We're not even going to do the crazy blank out of here. I'm going to send you off to the show floor or wherever you're heading next, sir. So have a great day and talk to you sooner.
Glad to see everybody.